Alright, hey, how you doing? Well, I kind of care, but I don't. But anyway, I've been putting off this State of WWE review since Tuesday, and now that I don't really have any distractions, or not that the woman was a distraction, but now that I can truly focus on the things I love, get my mind right, here is your State of WWE review. Whew! What a 2-week ride it has been since the night after WrestleMania. WrestleMania itself, I did not make a WrestleMania post recap review because I was disappointed in it. I still stand by the product I love, and I do love WWE. I love professional wrestling in a whole, and it's still not that intolerable as to where I won't watch it, but WrestleMania was a big disappointment to me. And that comes with a lot of criticism. I realize the WWE marks around the world who think WWE does everything perfect are going to sit there and blast me and call me this and that. But, well, you know what? While I'd rather accent what I like about the product rather than bitch about what I dislike, the fact of the matter is, when I make reviews or whatever, I'm bluntly honest. And I'll be honest, that WrestleMania left a lot to be desired. I'm not going to say it's sad, because those three women who tore the house down were the three best women's wrestlers we've seen this side of the decade. But it's WrestleMania. When your best match is a triple threat for the women's championship, come on. Shane and Undertaker was arguably just as good, maybe a little better, but I like the Divas match, or sorry, it's not Divas anymore. I like the women's title match better. AJ Styles, Jericho was great. Lesnar, Ambrose was supposed to steal the show. The only thing it stole was airtime, because it just sucked. It was pointless. No holds barred match, my dick. The fuck? Don't get me started on the title match. The segments were amazing. It's just, I'm not a sports entertainment fan. I am a professional wrestling fan. And I think that's why I prefer NXT over the main roster. But let's get into what's been happening the past 2 weeks. So, per the stipulation of the Hell in a Cell match, Shane lost, he was basically going to be a ghost. Well, plot twist, in typical WWE make sense of nothing fashion, they go out, decide maybe Shane can bring in some on-air viewers if he takes over leadership via TV, and boy, has he swung for the fences. Now, I don't know who's been running the show the past 2 weeks. Frankly, I don't give a damn if it's Vince, if it's Trips, if it's Shane himself. I don't give a fuck if they brought Vince Russo back and he's writing the goddamn scripts, as much as I hate that man. Whoever is in charge of it, slow clap for you, pat yourself on the fucking back. Sorry, I'm trying to clap. Let's look at what has happened in the past 2 weeks, and I'm going to try to make this as short as possible, but we have seen epic debuts, we have seen call-ups, we have seen 5-star matches, we have seen fucking back-to-back main events on Raw for the first time that, goddamn, it actually felt like a fucking match instead of trying to make Roman Reigns look strong. Flawless. The Fatal 4-Way match 2 weeks ago, outstanding. The Bray Wyatt, the tag team match last week, pretty damn good. And AJ Styles, Sami Zayn, despite the fact that they need to start putting Sami Zayn over and stop denying the incredible talent that man is, outstanding. They went out. I think Shane went out. He studied the tape of the Nakamura-Sami Zayn match and was like, you know what? I want to bring this to this stage so people are talking about us. And guess what? It might not have been quite as good as the match at TakeOver WrestleMania weekend, but I'll tell you what. Styles and Sami Zayn did what Styles and Sami Zayn do. Performed like the two greatest wrestlers of this day and age and tore the house down. Absolutely incredible. Now, I will get to AJ Styles in the #1 contendership. Let's look at the debuts. We've had Apollo Crews debuting, and we'll get the typical, oh, he's black, so he won't get a push. Yeah, maybe. I've said this before. I'm not huge on Apollo Crews. He's a phenomenal athlete, but he needs work on his gimmick. He needs some mic skills. Wrestling-wise, very good. But, I don't know. Just not a huge fan. Baron Corbin, however, the lone wolf. Whew! What an impact he has made. Going out and winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania, and then the next night dismantling Dolph Ziggler. Baron Corbin's going to be a big-time player. I expect him in the main event within 6 months. And I don't mind that because unlike Reigns, the guy can wrestle and he's over as fuck. He's an amazing heel, solid on the mic, and his gimmick suits him perfectly. It's kind of himself, so I mean, it works out perfectly. The Vaudevillains, one of the most underrated tag teams in my opinion in NXT history. I like their style, I like their very machismo gimmick, if you will call it. I think their call-up is best for business, brings some relevancy to the tag team division, because New Day, you know, as much as they've grown on me over the past couple of years since they've assembled, it's just they haven't had a real threat for them belts, like a legitimate threat, since the primetime players beat them at, was it Money in the Bank last year? Anyway, let's move on. Oh, bada bing, bada boom. My boys are in the main fucking room. How you doing? Enzo and fucking Cass have arrived, and boy, have they made a statement. I'll tell you what. You could say what you want about their, freaking gangsterish gimmick, whatever you want to call it. Freaking yuppies from Long Island, whatever you want to call them. But you can't tell me Enzo Amore is not a fucking genius on that mic. He's a perfect blend of trash talking, sarcastic, obviously humorous. The guy is gold. Granted, they may not be the greatest wrestlers in the world, but as a tag team, they have earned their stripes, and I think they can bring legitimacy back to the division as well. And you can recreate some matches that they've had, like with the Vaudevillains, Lucha Dragons, you know. I'd say the Ascension, but yeah, sorry about your luck there, Victor. But nonetheless, that aside, or was it Connor? I can't. One of them failed a fucking piss test. I don't fucking know. Anyway, they're not important enough to remember anymore because they were buried. I just hope they don't do that with Enzo and Cass, but we'll see. Intercontinental title state. That's a little interesting to me because Zack Ryder was basically, to me, given his WrestleMania moment, and then that was it. That's a done deal for him. But wait, there's more. All of a sudden, just when you think he's out of the running, they push him as a cancer survivor. What are you doing? Granted, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, probably. I'm not the biggest Zack Ryder supporter. I mean, do I like the guy? Yeah. Has he busted his ass? Yeah. Does he deserve it more than others? No. No, I don't think so. That's just me personally. I don't think he's that great in the ring. I like his gimmick, but like I said, I'm more of a pro wrestling fan than I am a sports entertainment fan. But Anyway, they remove him from the picture immediately. I guess, you know, hey, cool story, you can have your moment, but you're going to the back of the line, whatever. And now we got an interesting development here with Cesaro. The freshly returning Cesaro making an impact, winning an outstanding match with Kevin Owens on last Monday's Raw, and earning the #1 contendership for the Intercontinental title. I think this is a good idea to give him the IC strap, and let me tell you why. Cesaro, the IC strap back in the early to late 90s was associated with some of the pound-for-pound best wrestlers in the world. That title was on the line at a pay-per-view back in the 90s. It was one of the matches, if not the match of the show, comes to mind. Ricky Steamboat, Randy Savage, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Bret Hart, British Bulldog, Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect. The list goes on and on and on. So Cesaro, as one of the best pound-for-pound wrestlers in the world, I think he can bring that back to the IC title, and I think it'd be a great idea. You could have some good feuds for that belt, a la reignite the Sami Zayn-Cesaro rivalry, Kevin Owens, Ambrose, whatever it may be. Speaking of which, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. The term fight forever gets thrown around a lot, but this is a term that applies to these two and should stick by these two for as long as their careers may last and as long as we're privileged to watch these guys. The passion in their rivalry just seems so real because they're such good friends in real life. They bring their intensity on camera, and they just, for whatever reason, mesh together so perfectly. And that's is one rivalry that I would like to see fight forever, kind of like Stone Cold and HBK, or Stone Cold and The Rock for me, Undertaker, Mankind, Lesnar, Angle. No, I'm not going to say Cena, Orton, but I don't hate that as much as a lot of other people do. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, CM Punk and Chris Hero, Daniel Bryan and whoever you put Daniel Bryan with. That man was amazing. That's just one rivalry to me that should never die. And that actually might be a tattoo idea. But women's division, wow. I can't say any more about how beautifully this is coming along. And let's not forget, you know, a lot of people give the 4 horsewomen credit for putting the division back on the map and bringing legitimacy to the term women's wrestling again, dropping the stupid diva shit. And I will give no credit to Brie and Nikki for that, because they're fucking divas. They are not women's wrestlers. That fucking Tajay kid's gonna chew my head off, but you know what? He's a little bitch too. I don't really give a fuck about him. Anyway, you gotta shed some of that light to reviving the division to Paige and Emma, who, while NXT was just becoming hot, were tearing the house down with their women's wrestling, man. They are the reason, part of it, a big part of it, that women's wrestling is the main event in NXT. Women's wrestling is, they're not putting the main event on NXT. They are the main event. And Paige and Emma were the catalyst for that. And now, you got Emma back on the main. I don't know what the fuck they're doing with Paige, but she's young, guys. You got to understand, she's 23 years old. She's got plenty of time in the business. I know y'all want to bitch just to have something to bitch about, but she will have her day. Just be patient. But now we get Emma versus Becky. Ooh, oh, I can't wait to see this. That's going to be such an incredible match. It sucks that it's relegated to the pre-show, but I'm hoping that's only a legitimacy to Payback, that they're gonna put their all into making Payback an amazing follow-up to WrestleMania. As far as the title's concerned, Charlotte, I think she's a great heel. I'm not in love with her. I don't know. I think she needs a lot of work on the mic. Her charisma is very bleh. She needs to take notes from her daddy herself, the master of the style and the profile, the 16-time world heavyweight champion himself. She has a lot of weapons in her arsenal as far as video film of her daddy. She needs to use them. But we got her and Natty, which is basically a family match. And I think Natty's a tremendous wrestler. I think this is nothing more than, oh, my family's better than yours, blah, blah, blah type feud. So, there's that. Sasha Banks will be getting her day as soon as SummerSlam. Before I get into the main event, or the WWE World Title picture, let's move to NXT real quick. Now, shockwaves are going through the wrestling world as Shinsuke Nakamura has made his well-anticipated debut. And if you hadn't seen him before he came to WWE, or if you still hadn't seen him and you're a new subscriber to the WWE Network on Wednesday nights on NXT, you are in for a treat, my friends. You are in for a fucking show. I have been watching wrestling since I was 6 years old, okay? I have missed my age number of Raws over the past decade, maybe. I'm 27 years old, so you do the math. In 10 years, missed 27 shows. Live, that is. But Shinsuke Nakamura isn't a human being. He's a wrestling machine. He's a wrestling god. Incredible. I think what's going to happen, you got Finn Balor, okay? I'll get into that too, but for reasons I will state in a minute, Finn Balor's going to be called up soon, so you're going to need a new face of NXT. Who better than Shinsuke Nakamura? I'm not saying so soon, but maybe June 8th at NXT TakeOver, you set up Shinsuke versus Balor. Maybe have him lose, and then in Japan, in front of their home crowds. Balor's not from Japan, but he was in... You guys know, you're wrestling fans. I don't have to fucking explain this to you. And if I do, hit yourself over the head with a tack hammer because you're not a wrestling fan. You're a fucking mark. Anyway, that sets up, if they do the Tokyo thing again, the live special on the network July 4th, it sets up a match in Japan. And I see Nakamura taking the belt. But here's the twist. At the end of that match, you have a returning Hideo Itami who comes in and challenges Shinsuke. Or they could do it the other way around, because they never revealed who Hideo's attacker was. They can reveal it as Fiend, which leads to his heel turn. Okay? Have Hideo come in, take the strap, and do that same type of thing. Nakamura at the end of their match, at the end of the title match, come out to confront Hideo. Set up a nice little feud there. Oh, almost jizzing my pants thinking about that match. But Asuka's the women's champ right now in NXT. That division is in good hands. Bayley's on her way out soon, but have no fear. We got new women coming up. The women's division in NXT is going to be more than A-OK. You got Nia Jax down there, who for whatever fucking reason isn't being used right now. But women's division will be A-OK. Now, let's get to this title match. AJ Styles has won himself the #1 contendership and will face Roman Reigns at Payback. Now, You might think, oh, this is going to be a typical burial, not burial, but typical AJ Styles is there to put Roman Reigns over. Not so fast. If you watched Raw this Monday night, you've seen the debut, the WWE debut, of what is known as the Bullet Club, one of the greatest professional wrestling factions in the history of wrestling. Probably the greatest on the independent circuit. You got Machine Gun, Carl Anderson, and Doc Gallows. Now, they're missing their leader. Could they just be there to wreak havoc in the tag team division? Absolutely, but I think it's more complex than that. Now, you got AJ Styles, Roman Reigns. I think somewhere along the way in the match, Bullet Club comes out and they start jumping Reigns, which kind of leads, I wouldn't necessarily call that a heel turn because Reigns is hated now anyway. But here's the plot twist. Seth Rollins returns. Ambrose comes with him. Shield reunition, whatever you want to call it. Sets up a Shield versus Bullet Club type of thing, and Styles and Reigns can carry out their feud for a little bit. How I think that ends is at Extreme Rules, and then maybe Money in the Bank, stretch until Money in the Bank. Balor debuts. They jump Styles, kick him out. Balor takes over and sets up the Bulletproof Balor Club. As far as the Shield's concerned, they help Reigns get over a little bit, and when he's over, he stabs them in the back as Seth Rollins did to him, turns heel fully, which sets up a Seth Rollins Roman Reigns feud throughout the summer. And you can bet your bottom dollar, bet your sweet ass at WrestleMania 33 next year in Orlando, Florida, we will be getting, wait for it, the Shield triple threat match we have been waiting for years. Well, a couple years, but I don't know, love it, hate it, those are just my ideas. I could be wrong, but either way, you have to consider the fact that WWE is heading in the right direction. And yes, will they disappoint us? Yeah, that's got to weigh on all of our minds. Yeah, probably, but you know what? Enjoy the product for what it is, because it's pretty good right now and exciting things are happening. So all you got to do is believe. I'm out, y'all. Peace.